I think I've accidentally created the perfect 16-inch MacBook Pro setup. I've moaned relentlessly about this laptop over the last few months. It's too big, it's too heavy, it doesn't fit on any plane seat trays, it doesn't fit on any train seat trays, it's like a lead weight in my backpack. There's not a single coffee shop on earth that has a table big enough for it. I went on and on and on. However, I can't deny the fact that it still runs the production side of this business, and without it, well, you wouldn't be watching this video. And even more ironically, over the last, let's say 12 months, I have unwittingly built what I think is the perfect setup for the 16-inch MacBook Pro. And today I'm going to introduce you to it right after today's sponsor. And that sponsor is Trend Micro and their fantastic premium security suite. If you want a complete all-in-one solution for your identity and device protection at home, it is your knight in shining armor. It includes everything from a VPN to password management, mobile security, ID security, and protection against ransomware, email scamming, and other forms of cybercrime. And it works across Windows, macOS, Android, iOS, Chromebooks. Basically, your entire family can get involved, and like all of Trend Micro's software, it is super easy to install. They even have 24/7 human-based support, which is a real rarity these days. And what I love about Premium Security Suite is that they haven't cut any corners, so all of the apps that you get in that package are absolutely top-notch. A great example of that is the VPN, which I use all the time if I'm not working from this studio. So if I'm working down the coffee shop or at the local gym, I use that VPN to protect my data. So if, like me, you work in coffee shops quite a lot and you want a much safer experience on their Wi-Fi, or you just want to ensure that your kids and your partner's devices are safe from the terrible things that hide away on the web and try and steal your data, but they don't do it all the time. But if you just want peace of mind that everyone's data is safe, Premium Security Suite is an absolute no-brainer. And I've worked with them to get you a fantastic discount. So to find out more, click that link below. First up, we have the Studio Display, and I had a lot to say about this monitor when it first hit the market. It was, and still is, way too expensive, and it had, and still has, the worst, not the worst, but a terrible webcam. Despite this, it is a lovely looking thing, both in terms of the design, but also just the display. It's a lovely 5K Apple display. You can't get this kind of image quality at 5K anywhere else, I don't think, ironically, at this price point. If you think you can beat this, let me know in the comments. It's also incredibly convenient. You take one cable from this, plug it into your MacBook Pro, you get power to the Mac, you get the display, obviously, and you get a USB-C hub, because there's loads of USB-C ports on the back of this, all of which I've filled up. In fact, despite those flaws, the Studio Display has impressed me so much, I'm genuinely considering, I think, getting a second one. Next up, we have the Infinity Max laptop stand from Benks, and this is what my 16-inch MacBook Pro sits on whenever I'm working from the studio. And like everything Benks makes, it's really well made, and it's very functional as well. So basically you can angle it, I'll be careful with this, but you can angle it very high if you want to. It's very sturdy, as you can see, or very low as well, and it swivels, which is very useful for getting the right angle. It even flattens, so if I take this off, if you're the sort of person who wants to transport this around and use it in your local coffee shop, you can do that, because there you go, stick that straight in your bag. Next up, we have the keyboard, and this is the NuPhy Studio Halo 96. Now, I don't know very much about mechanical keyboards at all, but having used a ton of them, I know they sound nice, they're very addictive to type on, and they have this kind of old school aesthetic that is very endearing. And the Halo 96 has remained on this desk for longer than any other mechanical keyboard. A couple of weeks ago, I took my 16-inch MacBook Pro home to do some video editing, and I left my favourite mouse of all time, the Logitech MX Master 3, in this studio. It literally felt like someone had chopped off my arm. Now, that isn't the first time I've done that, so to avoid any future instances, I ordered myself a Logitech MX Master 3 S, which is basically the same mouse but with a much softer click. I won't waffle on about it anymore, but if you haven't got an MX Master 3S or even the MX Master 3, both of which you can get for fairly decent money, just go and buy one. Now, when it comes to external storage, I have to be very careful with my recommendation because I use exclusively SanDisk. And if you follow the tech press and you watch other YouTube channels, you'll know that these have quite a bad reputation at the moment. However, I've edited over 600 videos on this channel with these and they've never let me down. I know I'm massively tempting fate here, but in my experience, they have been bulletproof. If you're interested, I use the 2TB Extreme and the 1TB Extreme Pro, but I'll leave this one up to you, obviously. Just know that for me, they've been bulletproof. Next up we have the headphones, and although the 16-inch MacBook Pro has a fantastic audio system, nothing quite beats editing videos with a proper pair of fairly neutral headphones. And the Rode NTH100, which is what these are utterly fantastic. They're not expensive, they are one of the most comfortable pair of headphones I own, and the sound is flat enough to be perfect for video editing. Rode continue to make fantastic gear. Do not overlook these. I mentioned earlier that the Studio Display has a terrible webcam. It always has done. It will never get any better no matter how many software updates Apple puts out, which is why I always use the Insta360 Link, which is just up there. Now, this isn't a cheap webcam, and I'm fairly sure it's got quite a small audience. But if you have some money to spare and you can afford this thing, it is utterly brilliant. I use it for all of the calls that I take in this studio. It's got fantastic 4K image quality that people always comment on, and it's got this kind of swiveling and tilting head that can track you. So as you move around the room, it follows you around, so it does that kind of Apple center stage thing, but physically. Once again, it's not cheap, but you do get what you pay for. Now, the MacBook Pro doesn't spend its entire life in this studio. It does leave and come with me, and these days I transport it in this. And this is the Harber London zippered laptop sleeve, which is an utterly lovely thing. Not cheap, but again, you get what you pay for, and I've never seen so much padding inside a laptop sleeve before. It's also water resistant, so the water kind of falls off. It's got a very nice, tough zip, and I've got loads of laptop sleeves that are sent to me by brands, but Harber London stuff is very special. It's handmade and you feel like you're getting a lot for your money. And more importantly, it protects your very expensive gear. As I've always said about Macs, it's what you add to them that makes them indispensable, and this is my 16-inch MacBook Pro setup that I couldn't live without. Hopefully there's something of interest in there for you. All of the links are in the description, and if you've still got some time, keep watching for a link to another video that I made where I reveal why my next MacBook Pro will probably be the 14-inch.